I think I may be live. let's just let's just see what happens for a moment. Hello, everybody. If you are here at the moment, feel free to like or comment or something like that, so that I can see if this is actually working. Oh, there's a like. That's good. So just gonna wait here until there are a couple of people watching. We've got 5 so far. That's going well. Um, and feel free to begin whenever you're ready, posting questions or thoughts. Hiya, Debs. Evening, Paddy. Nice to see you here. Obviously, you're here, Paddy. You're a hypno junkie. That's great. So yes, anyone feel free to get started with questions, and I'll get talking whenever you're ready. I've also got my computer running as well, so if anyone private message me or something like that, then I can see the questions. Hi James, nice to see you here. Lots of welcomes, very few questions so far. So feel free to ask a question. I'm just going to have to start talking about advertising stuff. As you don't want that. You want to get something from this. So by all means, feel free to ask any question that you like, and I'll try and answer it. You know, beard looks great. Yeah, of course it does. Do you feel hypnotherapy can help with physical conditions? That's a good question. Oh no, now there's too many questions. Great. Hypnotherapy helping with physical conditions. I don't know if you have something particular in mind with with that question, but obviously it's something that we know is that hypnotherapy and hypnosis can alter human physiology, and it does obviously depend on the person, their receptivity, their rapport with you as a hypnotist, and their ability to achieve certain phenomena. And that said, you can change your blood pressure with hypnosis. Well, people can. I'm not saying you can, but certainly people can. So yeah, the hypnosis can certainly help with physical conditions. It would depend on the condition itself and the person specifically. But hey, I think so personally. Again, not a scientist, me. I have my own opinions, my own beliefs, and my own experiences with this hypnosis stuff. I'm just trying to, while I'm doing this, I'm just trying to figure out a way of getting all my comments. I think it might just have to be on the phone while I scroll back up. Bear with me. So hopefully that answers your question, Debs. Hi, in what order will you suggest hypnotic effects? Okay, that's quite a cool question. When doing mainly stage and street hypnosis is when I'm looking at ramping up from the lower level phenomena to higher level. So I would generally start off with something like catalepsy, which is immobility of muscle groups, whether it's eyes, arms, full body. You can build upon that and then go from that to amnesia. So forgetting names, numbers, that kind of thing. Loads of different fun skits and sketches you can do with that. Bear with me if this connection goes. I have a thing on the screen that says connection is weak. I have Wi-Fi, so hopefully the Wi-Fi is going to do it. So going from amnesia, then we would build up from that, and if appropriate, then potentially would be doing some anesthesia, analgesia, so taking away pain. That can be quite a fun thing to do as well. And when you get, someone who's responding to all of these suggestions, then you can build into like hallucinations and see how people respond to that. So, seeing things that aren't in the rooms or taking things away that are. So that's kind of the order of effects there are. That said, it's not cut and dried. So if someone is responding really well to catalepsy and they seem like they're really going along with it, sometimes I'll just jump in and suggest something like higher level, like hallucinating something. So hopefully that answered your question, Steph. Paddy, multitasking. What age is too young to learn hypnosis? my colleague Kate, many of you know Kate, Dr. Kate Bevan Marks. She said that one of her friends has her children. One of her children has read my book, and they're going around the school giving happy anchors to their friends. And I think she said that the child was like 10 years old or something like that. So that's pretty cool. I don't think children shouldn't be allowed to learn hypnosis, but they need to have a certain level of moral responsibility. So, kind of getting into the, 10, 11, 12 teenage years, that's what I would suggest. But again, that's all personal opinion. Thanks, Che, saying nice bindi. I don't know what that means. Um, so, my friend is asking, how can you prove hypnosis? That looks like Aelon. Hey, Aelon. How can you prove hypnosis? Hypnosis itself, basically, the only real way you can prove hypnosis is by connecting the person you're hypnotizing up to an EEG, electroencephalograph machine, and testing their brain waves. That is the only categorical proof that you're going to get of hypnosis, because generally when that's happening, you will see a specific level of fluctuation in the brain waves in the different hemispheres, and the right hemisphere tends to be active where the left is very, very inactive. So as far as I know, as far as I have read and heard, I don't have an EEG laying around here in the house, unfortunately. I had to get my hands on one of those. If anyone has a spare one, feel free to send it to me. Hopefully that goes a long way to say how you can prove hypnosis. But the majority of the time, proving hypnosis to someone who wants proof of hypnosis, it tends to be a very subjective proof. So you have to do hypnosis with them to prove it. And if they're open to it, and if they're the majority receptive, then they should get it. They should get some kind of proof from it, hopefully. So hopefully that answers your question. Which induction do you dislike the most? So many of you will probably be expecting me to say progressive relaxation. But actually, I really like progressive relaxation inductions. I don't tend to take an hour or 2 hours doing it, or reading it from script, or, all that kind of shit. Oh, P.S., bad language, apologise. I don't really apologise, it's me. Hey, you know me. If you've read my book, hey. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, from a user point of perspective, from having it done to me, I don't particularly like eye fixation inductions. Especially like the one where you look up right at the top of your head and try and keep your eyes open, that kind of thing. I just find it quite uncomfortable. But and really, really simple, simple eye closure. Just close your eyes. That's an induction. It's not my favorite because is it really an induction? You could have an argument about that. But that's what I would say. It's probably simple eye closure. You could all do that now. Just close your eyes. Are you hypnotized? I don't know. Maybe some of you are. Eyes open, wide awake. If you are, just in case. Hey, you never know how the hypnosis works over this. Arthur Kuhn. Oh, sorry, yeah, Gary. Hopefully that answered your question. Arthur Coons, hi, Rory. Hi, Arthur. Debs again. Oh, okay. Suffer with low blood pressure. Yeah, as I said, yeah, blood pressure, Debs. Hopefully, if you get someone, I would suggest working with someone who has experience working with blood pressure and that kind of thing. If that's something that you're going to do, you could potentially do it with self-hypnosis, but again, depending on how good a subject you are, depending on loads of different things, it could be worth working with someone specifically rather than doing it yourself. Also, consulting a doctor before you did, just in case. Okay, always a good plan. Bromil, hi, watching from UAE. Wow, awesome. Good to have you here, bro. Hey, he's a hypno bro. Gary, hi. James, Stage and Street Hypnosis has a massive stigma. The mustache gets in the way of my talking bit. And when I go to try many found skills, people are frightened, thinking that I will make them do things they don't want to do. How can I get around this? Okay, generally, especially with the stage stuff, it's good to start off, I find, with suggestibility tests and tell them that, that a suggestibility test isn't hypnosis, when in fact it kind of is. For all intents and purposes, they probably have their eyes closed, they're focusing on an idea, their body is responding in a kind of ideomotor response kind of way, and for all intents and purposes, it is hypnosis. You can lead from suggestibility tests straight into giving direct suggestions to people, and a lot of the time they will work. But that said, so you can do a suggestibility test with people, James, and after you've done it, and you tell them it's not hypnosis, and after you've done it, say, well, that was pretty much hypnosis. That's what hypnosis was like. Did you black out? Was that scary? Was that terrifying? No. Excellent. Let's do some more of that, shall we? Hopefully, that's a nice way to do it. Another way is have someone who's a fairly responsive subject with you. Have some fun. Get them to give feedback to your friends, and explain what it feels like and what it is like. Because then they can say, well, it's not like blacking out. I remember everything that happened, and he treated me with respect. So obviously he's going to do the same to you. That could help. Hopefully that answers your question. Steph. Sorry, just reading these as I go along. I should get a helper for this, really, to give me the summaries of the questions. Wow, I got 5 likes in one go. That's amazing. In your experience, Steph Dumerne, hopefully I read that right, negative hallucinations are more easy than positive. Oh, negative visual hallucinations are more easy than positive auditory hallucinations. That's interesting. Is that in your own experience, or in the experience of you getting that from other people? Different people respond differently to different suggestions. So some people are more auditory, obviously. Some people are more visual. So obviously the visual people will probably be much easier doing negative or positive hallucinations than anything auditory, and vice versa. So again, it depends entirely on the person you're working with. Also, it can depend on the way that you phrase and frame your suggestions, because if you're speaking in a very visual manner, trying to get people to see the dial and turn down turn down the sound by seeing it. You need to factor in VACOG, factoring in their representation system, and if you're speaking on the same wavelength as them, hopefully that kind of goes into that a bit. James Samuel, hey man, I purchased your book a while back. Great stuff. Wishing you and your business a great 2017. Thanks, James Samuel, and I appreciate you buying my shit. Bro Mill, what can you suggest for the new beginner? Where shall I start to begin learning hypnosis? Well, frankly, I would probably suggest you buy something like this. It's pretty good. It's available on all good Amazons. But no, you don't need to buy stuff. You don't need to go out and buy stuff to start doing hypnosis. There is so much stuff on YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel. There are tons of free videos on how to do inductions. If you search how to do a progressive hypnosis induction online on Google, I'm sure you'll find tons and tons of scripts. Obviously, being a beginner, some of it's not going to be great, and whether you know what that will be or not with the knowledge that you have, I don't know. Hopefully you have some common sense, and you could tell if something just sounds like absolute rubbish, and you think, well, I'm probably not going to do that. But a majority of the time, it's a good idea to try the stuff that you're going to be using, and try it out on yourself if possible. When I started out, I recorded myself doing hypnosis, and I played it back on myself to see if it would work. And I'm not the best subject in the world. I'm not the most responsive. I wouldn't pick myself to come up on stage. That said, I can benefit from hypnotherapy. I stopped smoking. That was the very first thing I did. I found a book. I think it was Hypnosis for Beginners. Strangely enough, not my book, The Beginner's Guide to Hypnosis, Hypnotherapy, sorry, but Hypnosis for Beginners, and there was a progressive relaxation script. I recorded that and played it back to myself, and I put just free-flowed some suggestions about giving up smoking, how good it will feel to be a non-smoker, how my lungs would feel clear, and, being able to walk further, and being able to actually breathe and taste food, and that kind of thing. And it worked, and so that's the thing, if you have no experience, and without going on a course, without reading loads of books, you kind of just have to try it, and that's what I think. So hopefully, bro, that helps. I just love bro. Yeah, bro. Joe Ballard. Yes. Oh, I love the comment. I have a friend who's addicted to junk food and will regularly consume several double cheeseburgers and fries. He is seriously obese. I think Che, your friend, he should just go to the gym more if his gym partner didn't let him down all the time. Che and myself go to the gym. I think he's being a dick. I think that's a technical term. Thanks, Che. Appreciate it. Joe Kane. Hi, Rory. Steve Miller. I believe hypnosis is not eyelids closed state necessarily. Hi, Steve Miller. You're awesome. I think most is done via the presence of the practitioner, their image, and their own charisma. In fact, I think 80. Oh fuck! Excuse me. Press something. I think 80% of the work is aligned to those variables. What do you think? That's a very long and interesting question that's open to a lot of debate, I'm very sure. However, hypnosis, I also would agree, is not an eyelids closed state. However, for some aspects of it, it will definitely help. Obviously, if you're getting someone to visualize stuff, if you're doing any kind of future pacing or regression work, you do goal setting and you want them to imagine they've achieved their goal in the future and see themselves doing that, you're probably going to get them to close their eyes to do that. It goes without saying. It's the majority of the information that we take in is from our eyes. So by closing the eyes, we can much more easily activate our imagination and focus on visualizing and stuff like that. Presence of the practitioner, their image, and their own charisma. Let's focus on the last part of that. Initially, charisma is going to be important, and that's not necessarily saying that you have to be an amazing public speaker with all of the energy in the world, always ready to go. And thinking like salesman with NLP talk and all that kind of stuff. It's not necessary. When I think of charisma as a therapist, I think a massive part of that is actually wanting to help people and believing in the work that you do. So that's what I would say comes down. That's charisma for me. If you want to help people, if you believe in the work that you do, and if you by then doing that, you're going to add in your belief, your inflection. You're going to change the way that you deliver your work based upon the fact that you want it to go across. You want to hammer it in there somehow. And what do you have to do that? You can use the words, but if the body, the voice, the delivery doesn't match the words, then it's going to be less effective. So I would say yes, the charisma, very important. The image. I don't know. Have you seen me? I don't know if image is that important. I've met hypnotherapists from all across the world, and there isn't a recurring theme. So generally, when it comes down to image, it's great to look kind of smart but appropriately smart. You don't have to, if you're going to like the Women's Institute, don't turn up in a 3-piece suit with a pocket watch and a handlebar mustache. Right. But yeah, you dress appropriately, and base your image on what your prospective clients or the people that you're going to be working with would feel is appropriate, would feel is smart. But yeah, those things are hugely important. If you had a hypnotist turn up in ripped jeans and with baked bean stains down his grimy t-shirt, that probably isn't going to work very well. Even if he's the best hypnotherapist or she's the best hypnotherapist in the world, like if you think he's a gross person, if they think they have no self-respect, and if they look a state, then you're not going to have rapport with them, and rapport is a massive part of it, because basically all we're doing as hypnotherapists is we're convincing the client that they have the ability to change. They're able to do that. If they don't respect us enough to take our opinion on board on some levels, conscious, subconscious, superconscious, unconscious, what the fuck ever conscious, then it's not going to work. So hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Steve Miller. Thanks for being here. James Sawkins, what was your first ever taste of hypnosis and where did your journey begin? I used to like vampire novels and horror movies and stories and things like that, and people would do hypnosis quite frequently, especially vampires. Vampires love that shit, especially the guy in Dracula, Dead and Loving It, Mel Brooks. Go to the window. No, not you. Love it. So that was a big part of it. That movie, even especially. And from that, I read some books, and then from doing that and practicing with people, I went on to do some work with myself and with my family. And then I was like, well, okay, that's cool and everything, but I do like to entertain. I like to be in front of people. I like to, have a bit of fun, make people laugh. So stage hypnosis was the obvious thing, and then I went out and did a course, a 2-day course on stage hypnosis, and from then on, I just advertised. I put up some Google ads saying the best stage hypnotist in the UK, having done 0 shows. We want to start somewhere. You can't put a Google ad up and say, just starting out as a stage hypnotist, please hire me. I might be all right. So, hey, don't tell advertising standards. It's all good. So hopefully, James, yeah, that's good. Steph again. Paddy is frozen. Oh, I would probably, if you're frozen, Paddy, turn up the heating. Steph, the best subjects are the ones who think you have some kind of power, but I always tell them you can only be hypnotized if they want to. Did you find out a way to be more vague about it, but still obtaining compliance? Yeah, people have lots of different opinions about hypnosis. They always think you have some. Well, as I say, they don't always. A lot of them think you have some kind of power. And if that's a helpful thought for them to have, then potentially let them have it. But I would generally kind of try and reframe that into the thing where all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I'm just helping you do these things. I'm helping you to achieve these changes or whatever it is. So I don't tend to be very vague about it. I tell them kind of directly in a nice way. I do challenge people's beliefs when they're not true, because if someone doesn't have a legitimate belief about hypnosis, like, oh, okay, so you're going to click your fingers and I'm going to black out, and at the end I'm not going to smoke anymore and I won't have a clue what's going on. If that's someone's belief, then pretty much 99.9% of the time, anything you do in that session without challenging that belief isn't going to work, because that's not going to be their reality. That's not going to happen, right? So if you want to be effective, generally, if you change their beliefs and challenge their beliefs friendly, be friendly, don't be a dick about it. No, your belief about hypnosis is wrong. What the fuck are you, an idiot? Don't do that. But challenge their beliefs a little bit into a way that will make your session more effective, make your work more effective. Hopefully that works. Debs, so we don't all need a tash. Well, no, you definitely don't need a mustache. This is the work of, what is it, like four solid months of growing. It's great. Bro, again, can you record this again? Yes, this will be recorded, I believe, on after the video is finished. So hopefully you should be able to. I don't know how long, whether it appears straight away afterwards. But it should come up. Hopefully you'll be able to rewatch it. What is the best way, Paddy says, to get over not liking being the centre of attention, bearing in mind that for stage stuff you're going to be up in front of people? Okay. Hypnotherapy. So, I used to be super, super shy. I would literally, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I wouldn't even pick up the phone, and if someone random was ringing me to answer the phone. So it's just a case of the way that I did it was gradual desensitization. I went out and got some jobs that made me interact with people. Also, while I was doing that, I was using different hypnotic techniques. I used some self-hypnosis, not self-hypnosis, but recording it and playing it back to myself, because that works better for me. Self-hypnosis itself, in doing it in your head, that works great for some people, not for me. So I record it and play it back. And anchoring, really, really useful. So especially for stage hypnosis and any kind of public speaking or public performances, I like to anchor a state of calm and of relaxation. Of any times in the past where I had spoken to people, or any times I answered the phone, or any times I had a good conversation, even if it was like a really short one, and felt that feeling of, oh yeah, that's good, that's confident. I'd anchor that to a physical feeling. So if you go in your head, get yourself into a relaxed state, think about those times that you've had that were positive, build up the feeling, and then create a physical anchor. This is my one, so ring, finger and thumb, and squeeze it as you focus on that. and then release it, and then do it again for various different things. That can be a very powerful tool, and that's something that I used to use all the time to boost up my getting over this being the center of attention. Also, when you're a stage hypnotist, you're not the center of attention. The people that are on stage are the center of attention. The crowd don't really give a fuck about the stage hypnotist. If you ask people who've seen a stage show and you say, well, so what was the stage hypnotist's name? They'll say, oh, I don't know. He was the hypnotist. He's a stage hypnotist. I was more focused on what those people were doing. Humping chairs and shit. Ali Hussein, hi Rory, buy the books and CDs and practice hypnosis. I think I need more training, but I am Bahrain. What to do? Sorry, my reading there was terrible. You don't sound like that at all. But I am in Bahrain. What to do? I don't have anything planned in Bahrain, unfortunately, Ali. But I mean, I would Google, have a look around, see if there is anyone doing any courses there or in the near vicinity. Otherwise, people do fly in internationally and come on my courses. I know there's some guys in America and some guys in Australia who do instant hypnosis training as well, and some of them are very good. So, if it's easier to fly to one of those places than to the UK, then that could potentially be better for you. I'm sorry, I can't really do too much about that. Danny, love the beard, bro. Thanks, Danny. One of the best stage subjects I had was someone who did not believe hypnosis worked. Has this ever happened to you? All the time, Joe Kane, all the time. It doesn't tend to matter whether people think hypnosis works or not. It really doesn't. Because generally we are going to be naturally, inherently either suggestible or less suggestible. Initially when I started out, I didn't think hypnosis would work on me at all. I had no prior experience of it, which most people don't. And I thought, well, it's probably just going to be a load of crap. And then I did it, and then I hypnotized myself, and I stopped smoking. And I was smoking 20 to 40 cigarettes a day. So that kind of proved to me that hypnosis existed. And that tends to be the experiences of most people. If you've never experienced hypnosis and all you've seen is hypnosis on the TV or on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever it is, you're going to think, well, that's probably fake. Or you go to a Darren Brown show, you have no knowledge of it, and you think, well, he just did a quick test with people in the audience, because he does suggestibility tests, and he does it for like 10 seconds and then picks one out of like 3,000 people. So whether that person knew that they were hypnotically suggestible or not, probably not. They may not have done until their hands were stuck to their face or something ridiculous like that. So no, you don't need to. Most people don't know beforehand. More questions, guys. Bring on the questions. Actually, I don't know how long have we got left. It's 20:28. Actually, I might do one more question, because I think these run for half an hour. Can anyone confirm if I can run over half an hour? Because I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Who used suggestibility tests? Did you find out a way or capacity for hallucination or amnesia? Don't quite understand the question. Oh, okay, now I get it. Is there a good way to find out a suggestibility test for people to find out if they will hallucinate or be amnesic? There are a number of what's the name of it? If you can comment, Kate Bevan Marks, this whole test routine thing, the big one they do. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. There is one, I think, but generally for me, I just go with standard, ideomotor suggestibility tests. And as a rule, you tend to find that the people who respond well to those are going to be generally the most responsive with those kind of, suggestions. So, amnesia or hallucinations. You do those for several hours. I just don't think there's a time limit. Okay, well, if it cuts off, it cuts off. Hey, who knows? So you've got like a minute left. If it does cut off, if we're still here after a minute, then hey, cool. I've got it for a while. Oh, can stay live for up to 90 minutes. Holy crap! I don't have enough water for that. So yeah, I don't personally use any tests for hallucinations, that kind of thing. But generally, if if you're doing stage hypnosis shows, a great majority of stage hypnotists, like most of the stuff that they do with the eyes closed. You know, especially at the start, and coming towards the end, you know, you will still get people who are less responsive once they have their eyes open with the visual hallucinations, and there can be a bit of social pressure. But also, there are people who will be on stage who really, you know, they can visually hallucinate. But in that situation, you know, there are a lot of different things playing off as well. And you know, some of them are like, well, I got this far, you know, I can't really go, well, it's not working now. So there is some aspect of social pressure, especially with stage hypnosis. But for me, testing that, you know, at the start is kind of redundant in a group scenario. But for just testing's sake, you know, if you're working one on one with someone and you want to test if they can hallucinate or if they're amnesic, test it. You know, do it. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to fail. Oh well, you know, do something different. You know, then get another subject if they're really pissed off that, you know, they couldn't hallucinate. Yeah, and another thing is the more that you kind of get into this, the more that you practice being hypnotized and that kind of thing, the better you can become at it. I'm not saying you will, I'm saying you can. So some people will naturally just get better and get more responsive, whereas others may stay at the same level. So hopefully that answered your question to some extent. Let's see, are there any more questions? How would you deal with a client with sleep apnea, Gary Mardle? I wouldn't. Personally, I would say, yeah, probably go to the doctors. Depends what specifically their problem is with sleep apnea. But sleep apnea, with the relatively small amount of information that I know about it, because obviously I don't particularly work with it, so I don't know too much about it. I just know enough that I think, well, I'm probably not going to work with that. But yeah, so generally send across to GP to get their information, and if they have a specific issue relating to it potentially that they would want to work with, so such as being able to sleep better, and it's, you know, their GP has said, oh yeah, that's absolutely fine, you know, nothing bad is going to happen with that, then potentially. But like I said, I probably wouldn't deal with a client with sleep apnea personally, but I'm sure there are hypnotherapists out there that do and will. So yeah, I know. I would say probably Kate Bevan Marks. She works quite a lot with people in hospitals and things. So she would. I'm sure she probably has dealt with someone who's had sleep apnea. So maybe send her a message. You can find her on the HypnoTC website. Send her an email. So it's kate@hypnotc.com. Actually, if I can just find this, what's it here? I will comment her email address and you can directly contact her. There you go. That should come up right now. There you go. Love it. Do you use IMR in your hypnotherapy? IMR being idiomotor responses, and yes, Nick Beale, I do use IMR in my hypnotherapy where required. If working, you know, if the client doesn't particularly know very much about what's going on with their problem, they want to have, you know, some insight on it, or something like that, or if they are in a fairly light state of trance, I find it's very useful, because obviously if you're trying to get responses from a client while they're in trance, talking, it can bring them up out of trance a little bit. So idiomotor responses and are a very good way to kind of do that, and they're the, you know, finger twitches. So rather than getting them to say yes or no, have them move a finger for yes and a finger for no. For those of you who don't know, and that's a very good way of communicating with your client's subconscious mind during therapy without bringing them back up to talk to you. Hopefully that answers your question. Hi, Ed Booker, nice to see you there. Gary, sorry, what I was meant. Oh, sorry, what I meant was actually hypnotizing someone with sleep apnea, due to throats closing when they relax. Yeah, that's exactly why I wouldn't particularly be wanting to hypnotize someone with sleep apnea. You know, throats closing while they relax. You know, it's bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, it's a case of, you know, if they sleep and they have, you know, machine, so that they can sleep and not die, then if you are going to do hypnosis with a person who has that and to that degree, then probably make sure that they have their machine with them. Kind of makes sense. But yeah, like I say, for me, I don't tend to, you know, work with people on those things. But yeah, Kate, as she says there, Kate has, so feel free to send her a message. Ooh, would you or can you work on people with ADHD to help relax them? Yet again, not one of my specialties, unfortunately. And I think I worked once with a child who had ADHD, but that was when I started out and I was really, really inexperienced and an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing. I took a script book with me. That was like literally in the first like 6 months of me practicing hypnosis, and it was one of my friends' kids. They were like, "Oh, just try it, just do something." And whether he was ADHD or just a little terror, a wonderful little child. I don't know, but I tried in all of my wisdom starting out when I was like 18, 19 years old, however it was. I tried to lay him down. He was like an 8-year old child doing progressive relaxation with an 8-year old child. That didn't really work. So yeah, like I say, I haven't really worked with too many people with ADHD. But as far as it goes, assuming they have no other underlying disorders, psychological disorders, problems like that, that go along with it, which obviously we probably most of us, unless trained to an appropriate level, wouldn't tend to touch with a barge pole. Hopefully, then what was I going to say? Fuck. Then yeah, I'm sure it's something that you could potentially work on. Again, GP permission, very important, and I've said it a couple of times throughout. And getting GP permission is good, because then at the very least, you're kind of working safely. And if you say to the GP, is it okay for me to work with this person who has ADHD or who has sleep apnea, or do you think I shouldn't for any reason? You could then have a back and forth with them about what you would potentially do and what would physiologically happen to them in the session, and that kind of thing. And then if they say no because blah blah blah, then you may save yourself a lot of hassle. But at the same time, they may say yes, actually, I think this approach could probably help the person. Then sure, by all means. And there there could be a variety of different ways to work with them, but it could potentially help them relax. And I had another comment: confusion inductions, which makes a lot of sense. So confusion overload inductions and processes like that within the hypnosis could work very well. What is the best book to learn self-hypnosis, in my opinion? Knowing that you never had the chance to experience any phenomena after trying with several stage hypnotists in France. I haven't read a book on self-hypnosis personally. I just tried it. I took hypnosis that I would do for anyone, and I did it to myself by recording it. Most people have a smartphone or a computer or some kind of recording device that you can do that with. Self-hypnosis itself, as in doing it automatically in your head without listening to a recording, that's kind of a different kettle of fish. And it's not, I don't think you really need a book. It's a very simple process. You just need to be able to recognize being hypnotized, being in the state of hypnosis, being in that state. So it could potentially be worth, rather than reading a book, going and seeing a good hypnotherapist and saying, can you do a session for me to teach me self-hypnosis, to teach me to recognize the state of hypnosis and to give me a quick way back into it. And there are a couple of different ways that you can do that, and different hypnotherapists have different approaches. You can just close your eyes and imagine you're walking down some stairs and you go into like a room, your hypnosis room or something like that. That's a basic idea. But yeah, it's all in your head. And when you're doing self-hypnosis like that, you're probably not going to generate much phenomena in yourself. You're probably not going to get yourself to, I don't know, you might, you may find that you're the best hypnotist for you, and that those other hypnotists in France were just no good for you, no good working together. So, don't discount it. But as a rule, from what I know and from working with other people, especially working with really good subjects, most people tend to not be able to achieve the level of phenomena that you would achieve with working with a hypnotist by doing it yourself. So generally we keep self-hypnosis suggestions very, very simple and very direct. So hopefully that answers your question again. Do you suggest, Ali Hussein, any book for conversational hypnosis? Read anything by Milton Erickson ever. Or loads of Milton Erickson stuff is absolutely great. Hi Tom Kerman, good to see you as well. But yeah, Milton Erickson, he was the master, especially conversational hypnosis, because he a lot of the hypnosis that he did, it wasn't really hypnosis, it was just talking, and it was getting people to think in different ways, and by doing that, getting people to kind of to think about things slightly differently, or dropping in subtle embedded suggestions. Actually, a really good thing for that, for you, could be, if you haven't already, hypnotic language cards. I don't know if it's backwards on the video. These are our hypnotic language cards, and they're available on Amazon. And actually, there are various different things, the various different types of cards that will help you to integrate a more conversational hypnosis, twang into everything you do. So rather than just during hypnosis sessions, it's something that people use in sales quite frequently. It's something that, politicians, yes, they're using that kind of stuff all the time. So making stuff emotive is a great way to do it. Telling stories, giving people the illusion of choice, and being permissive, and thinking back to a time when this happened, or thinking forward to a time. Imagine what it would be like if you could do this. All of these things are kind of, apart from the stories, we're not telling you how to tell stories, but these are really cool for that. And there's a thing on there's a little insert in here that has a link to the website with instructions on how to use them, how to get the most out of them. So take a look at that, and they are actually available on this page, which I have just linked to you there, hopefully. There you go. So hopefully that will help. So coming back up to where we got to before, it's gone way past the 30 minutes. I'm going to have to cap it at an hour. But hopefully we'll get some more questions answered. So hopefully, Ali, that answered your question. Hi again, Tom. Thank you for calling me a bitch. I appreciate it. David C. Stewart, are you doing any courses in Scotland? I did some courses in Scotland 2 years ago, give or take, but the numbers kind of dropped down. So again, my network in Scotland is fairly slim. But if enough people can come on a course, then I'm more than happy to go to Scotland to do one. That said, I do have people flying down or training down from Scotland for this next rapid induction course that is on the 18th of March in London, central London. I actually have someone flying in for another course from America, so Scotland's not that far. Ed Booker, hypno cards are very good. Thanks, Ed. Is there a follow-up, Tom Kerman, to your children's hypno book, Sam the Sleepy Sheep? Currently, there is no follow-up for Sam the Sleepy Sheep, but there potentially could be in the future, and it's something that we have considered, but we're very busy at the moment with our hypnotherapy NGH course, and putting loads of effort into that and getting good, well-trained hypnotherapists out there to combat the ones that are not always quite as good or as well informed. So any of you guys as well, I feel like I'm just selling shit now. I'm not. I'm just going to train of thought. So any of you guys who are looking into hypnotherapy, HypnoTC. Check out the website. NLP. He says, James Sorkin's been reading a lot on it, very similar to hypnosis. What do you think? Yes, I would definitely agree with you. James Sorkin's NLP is very similar to hypnosis. The reason for that is that NLP is basically hypnosis modeled. They modeled three, I think it was three of the really good communicators in the world of therapy, and one of them being Milton Erickson, kind of the key figure in the early world of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. So it is definitely very similar. But at the same time, if you're doing hypnosis, whether hypnotherapy or stage or street or whatever it is, or if you're just interested, NLP is very, very important. I think some hypnotherapists will think, well, yeah, no, just do hypnosis. But for me, I say NLP. I come from both a hypnosis and an NLP background of study. So I say have a look into it. I read a really good book. It is Joseph O'Connor, I think. I think it's NLP Workbook. That's the one. NLP Workbook by Joseph O'Connor, and it's a blue book. You can get it on Amazon, and that's the NLP book that I started out with. It can be a little bit heavy going in parts, but there are some really cool hints and tips in that book to get you started with NLP. So yes, all in favour of it, James Sawkins. Thank you. Hi, Steve Bogarts. Enjoying the chat. Just wanted to ask about the street course you have in May. Can you just do the second day, or do you have to do the rapid induction part as well? Cheers. So again, asking about courses, I didn't bring it up. There is a Stage and Street Hypnosis 101 course in May. That will be the 27th and 28th of May. The first day is my Rapid Inductions course. So, that's what that is. The second day is all about stage and street suggestions and giving suggestions, doing a really good pre-talk and actually doing the fun stuff. We're not going to be talking about setting up your stage show. We're not going to be talking about, getting contracts and getting bookings and all that kind of stuff. It's all just practical suggestion management, basically, setting yourself up to be able to deliver suggestions and that kind of thing. To answer your other question, do you have to... can you just do the second day if you've already done the rapids? If you've already done the rapids, then contact me directly and I will have a chat with you. You can either come along, I can give you a discount code, and you can come along to both days or just one day, but generally both days is better because you get more opportunity to practice, and you may learn something new on the Rapids Day, because my Rapids Days never tend to be exactly the same each time. Those of you who've come to the Rapids Day number of times will know that. So yes, Steve, and anyone else who's watching, if you've come along to any of my courses before and you want to come to the 2-day Stage and Street 101, contact me and we can sort something out, and there's a half price discount for those of you who want to do that, which would be great. The more the merrier, the more the better. So thanks for that, Steve. Che Ballard, skip that one. Okay, sensible question. Which hypnotist or hypnotherapist, past or present, do you most admire, and whose style do you most identify with on a personal level? That's a good question. Well, Paul McKenna has a really great voice for doing hypnotherapy. I really do like his voice. But yeah, it has to be Erickson. Erickson was he was just a master of word weaving, and they modelled 4 people. Thanks, Aelon. No, cheers. Milton Erickson, definitely. He's any work you can, like any videos you can see on YouTube of Milton Erickson, watch them, watch what he does, model the way that he speaks, and you'll learn a lot from Erickson. There's a great book, the Teaching the Teaching Tales of Milton Erickson. No, My Voice Will Go With You. That's the book. If you haven't read anything about Erickson, or you don't particularly know about him, My Voice Will Go With You is a great place to start. Some of the books about Erickson or by Erickson are fairly heavy going, but well worth it. If you're interested in doing that. So hopefully that answers your question, Cheb Allard. Uh, Mark Lee, can you be hypnotized if you're a skeptic? I think we kind of covered this earlier on. I don't know if you were here earlier, Mark. But yes, a lot of skeptics are really, really great hypnotic subjects. Generally tend to be even greater than those people who really do believe in it. Not really, but you don't. It doesn't matter if you're a skeptic or not. You know, you will have an inherent suggestibility, hypnotizability level. It's kind of there. It's there right now. You know, you might not know what it is, but it's there. So some people just respond better than others. Some people respond quicker than others, and it depends on the person that you're working with, the environment that you're in, the mood that you're in. All of these kind of things can be factors to that. So hopefully that answers your question, Mark. Ed Booker. Is it best to condition stage hypnosis subjects? Is it best to condition them on stage in front of a crowd, or take them away from the crowd, then bring them back after in the hypnosis state? On stage, yes, definitely on stage, because if you take people away from the stage and the audience can't see what's going on, automatically the audience are probably going to be thinking, well, what the fuck is he doing? Is he paying them to go and act, on stage? Generally, that's going to be bad. So, yeah, I would always keep them on stage. But again, you need to be firm with the audience. If that's something that you're doing, you need to turn around. You need to tell the audience for a couple of minutes, be quiet, because I'm going to be talking to these people and getting the show primed to start, and if you're fucking around, then it's going to disrupt this. It's going to disrupt the whole show. So you're only ruining your own night. Maybe not in those words, but that's the general gist of it that you want to get across. So hopefully that answers your question, Ed. And again, it doesn't matter if there's noise in the room and stuff like that, because hypnosis is not a fragile state. You can do hypnosis with the subject standing up in a noisy bar. And if they're a fairly decent subject, then they're going to go with it. It doesn't matter where they are and what's happening. Is there a link to Ericsson's website? I don't know about websites specifically. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there are memorial websites and all sorts of things like that. James Sawkins. But what I would initially suggest that you do is just go either on both actually. Just go on Amazon and go on YouTube and type in Milton Erickson. Milton Erickson. Actually, you can even type in Milton H. Erickson, just like that. And put that into Amazon, put that into YouTube, and you should get books and videos from him or about him as well. So hopefully that will help. Che Ballard, that was the correct answer. Fucking course it was. Coming to the US anytime soon, says Fred Averick. Unfortunately not. I was in the US in August at the Hypnothoughts Live convention, which if you are in the US or if you're over there, the Hypnothoughts Live convention is great. There are tons and tons of different types of people over there, different hypnotists and stage hypnotists and hypnotherapists and trainers, and you get small names and big names, and really, really good. So if you can make it over there, even if you're like in the UK or if you're somewhere else in a different country, it's worth doing. It's pretty much one of the world's biggest hypnosis convention. And it's in Vegas, and who doesn't want to go to Vegas? I don't recommend going for more than like 5 days, because Vegas is like too much. So yeah, unfortunately not. But feel free, Fred, to come over and see me in the UK, because the UK is great. It's cold as fuck. Kate has posted in the comments for whoever said was it James? Yes, a link to the Ericsson Foundation, ericsson-foundation.org. There you go. Keep those questions coming. You've got 6 more minutes. 6 minutes of this majestic face. Tom Kerman, how was your recent hypo spell check trip to India/Sri Lanka? I did just go across to India and Sri Lanka. Pretty hot, pretty hot over there. But yeah, all in all, went to Chennai and Kerala, Bangalore, and over in Sri Lanka to Colombo, all of which really good, really nice places, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. The Indian people are slightly different when it comes to hypnosis. People over there think the key thing that I got from people was I don't really want to volunteer because I'm worried that you're going to give away all my deepest, darkest secrets. So I guess Indian people have lots of deep, dark secrets. That's all I can get from it. It may just be from the media, that kind of thing, that they've got it. But yeah, so it was good. It was very good. Too hot for me, and luckily I avoided any kind of food poisoning, which was great. Curries are amazing over there. Definitely, like I had a korma from Tesco's the other day, and that's not a korma anymore. Kormas over there are like green. It's like what? Crazy. So I'm scrolling. There's no more questions. Do you not have any more questions? If you don't, I'll just go and have a port and something. Hey, bring it on. Ever thought about maybe doing a live Facebook hypnosis show? No, I haven't. But that would be weird. Live Facebook hypnosis show, like, like just literally taking the Facebook Live to a hypnosis show and filming it? Or doing hypnosis over Facebook Live and just guessing whether any of you are responding to my suggestions and hoping that you're all safe as you do it. That sounds like fun. No, I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. Thanks for highlighting the typo. No problem, Tom. Pay more attention. What are your next rapid induction course dates? David C. Stewart. I missed a question. Rapid induction course is the 18th of March, and the Stage and Street course, which is the first day is rapid inductions, the second day is Stage and Street hypnosis, is the 27th and 28th of May. All of those are available on my website, which you should be able to find. Type in Rory Hypnotist on any Google and it will come up with me. Hey. Gary Mark Taylor. I gave my 9-year-old daughter a magic glove. She has used it for over a year. Anytime she hurts herself, she puts it on. Instant pain relief. She's a dream to work with. I use a lot of waking hypnosis. She is now hypnotizing her friends. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Magic glove kind of goes, the same idea of, when you were a kid, or the whole thing of, oh, you fell over and scraped your knee, mummy will kiss it better, that kind of thing. That's not really going to do anything, but in a child's mind, it is. It's great. So it's a metaphor for pain relief, and as we know, when working with children, metaphors are absolutely amazing. Hey, while we're here, let me just plug something else. This is a metaphor for children. It's Sam the Sleepy Sheep. It's a metaphor that helps children to go to sleep at bedtime. If you know children who struggle with that, that's a really great story, And Kate, Dr. Kate Bevan Marks and myself, we wrote that story. We actually wrote the story first so that it was a really good, engaging story that children would like. And then we stuck loads and loads of hypnotic language over it. And I don't know if you've read, I just saw a comment, sorry. I don't know if you've read the book, but some of the comments and some of the feedback we've had on the Amazon page is I was reading the book to my child and my wife fell asleep while I was reading it, so that kind of thing. So we all love a good story, and stories are a great way to get ideas implanted in our minds. And so buy that shit. But yeah, well done, Gary. Hopefully, if it's something that your daughter really likes and really enjoys, then maybe it might be something that she takes further as a career, potentially. And she could grow a beard like me. It would be great. Ed Booker, do you think having a long beard helps with the mystery of hypnosis? Thinking of growing one if it does. I don't know. I've been doing hypnosis for a while, and sans beard, avec beard, is it avec French? I don't know, I don't speak French. Avec beard. But yeah, I don't think it gets in your mouth a lot, as you probably could see. I don't know. Yeah, so you don't need a beard to be a hypnotist. You don't need, the waistcoat, the pocket watch, all that kind of stuff. If you feel more confident, and if you feel, that having a beard would help you, then by all means, then do that. you know. Unless you're a woman, then I don't recommend it. Really, not at all. Uh, so yes, I was going to say something else, but it got absorbed into the beard on the way out, so never mind. Oh yeah, don't if you have a beard, obviously don't take any clients with pogonophobia, which is a fear of beards. They might not want to come to you. Mark Lee, was Matthew Putterall one of your easiest subjects to hypnotize? Mark Lee, do you know Matthew Putterall personally? Are you looking for gossip? Wait, I'm just going to wait for his response for that. do 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 do. He's not coming back to me. Yeah, so if some of you guys have seen my YouTube channel, there's a video where I demonstrate various types of hypnotic induction. Ah, yes, I know him. Ah, that makes sense. But yeah, the guy actually was one of my school friends, and his name is Matthew, and he is a ridiculously great subject. I'm actually sorry, I was just looking at this. I was just posting that link in there now, so you can see that, so you guys all know what I'm talking about. There you go, it's right there. You've probably seen it before potentially, but yeah, that's that video, instant inductions. There's Matthew Puttrell, and he's a very good hypnotic subject. He's very responsive, and you know that doesn't make him special. Uh, there are a great deal of responsive hypnotic subjects out there, and it's said the research says that about 20% of people are super receptive, and he's obviously one of those. You know, not to say that those people who aren't super receptive, you know, can't do things. It's not a case of you're good or you're a bad subject. It's more of a linear thing. So you know you've got the great subjects up here, and that's where Matthew is. Then you've got the people down here who don't really respond to much at all, and then everywhere in between you have something else. And you know, so Matthew's here. Someone who doesn't respond to much is here. I'd put myself like here, you know, that's where I would be, you know, so different people at different levels of receptibility. Receptivity, not receptibility. That's not even a word. But the people in between these two here, those are the people who you'll generally see on stage. So all of these people, then you generally won't see them on stage because they're not going to be that responsive to suggestions. So Mark Lee, I hope that answers your question. Actually, we've kind of gone over an hour now, so I think that's probably all we've got time for because I need to go to the bathroom. So, just a quick reminder, and thank you guys all for coming. It's been awesome. And again, if you didn't hear anything that was going on, then hopefully this will be replayed. The Rapid Induction course is happening on the 18th of March in London. On the 27th and 28th of May, there's a stage and street. Those are available on my website. So if you go along to www.rory-z.com, like that in the comments, then you'll be able to find it. Otherwise, if you're looking to learn hypnotherapy, we have 2 free taster days coming up. Free taster days. So anyone who wants to come along, you know, even just for like a free day with myself, with Kate as well, we're both going to be there. It's free. You get to do some practice. You get to ask us questions about hypnotherapy as well, which is super cool. That's on the 18th of February, which is a Saturday, I believe, and the 12th of March, which is a Sunday. I think the February one is almost full, so the Sunday one could be good. And again, you know, all my books and DVDs and things, they're all available on roryz.com. So again, thank you very much, and I'm quite happy with this how this went. So I think we probably will have to do this again at some point in the future. So if you have questions, write them down and save them for next time. But for now, I think it's time for me to go. So thank you all for coming, and please, when you do go to sleep tonight, feel free to dream, and feel free to sleep like a log all night long. Good night.